What should the skit be for today?
Why don't we all pretend to be animals?
No, we already did that for Secret Life of Pets. Why don't we pretend Jeff's an animal? Nah, we did that for A Dog's Journey.
And I got fleas.
Why don't we make Jeff talk to a stuffed animal and animate his mouth?
Oh, right, you weren't there for that. We did that for Toy Story 4. How about we put all of our heads on footage of animals?
Nah. We already did that for Lion King.
And it caused me big issues afterwards. There has to be something we haven't already done. I got it. Let's all sing selections from the 1967 version of Dr. Dolittle.
No.
It'd be fun.
Welcome back to Kids Review Crew. Today we'll be watching and reviewing Dolittle.
Dolittle is about a man named John who goes on an adventure to find a cure for the Queen. By the way, did I tell you he could talk to animals?
This movie stars Robert Downey Jr., Antonio Banderas, Michael Sheen, featuring the voices of Selena Gomez, Rami Malek, John Cena, Kumail Nanjiani, Octavia Spencer, Tom Holland, and Craig Robinson. Let us commence.
Okay guys, welcome back to our second season of Kids Review Crew. We made it through an entire first season. Yay! And today you're back from watching Dr. Dolittle. Who here has actually read any of the Dr. Dolittle books?
There's a book?
There's a few of them actually. How about seeing any of the previous Dr. Dolittle movies or videos or TV shows?
No.
Did you know that? Did you know that this is an old story?
Yes.
Okay.
Ish.
No, I didn't.
Ish?
I didn't.
That's pretty old. It's from the early 1900s.
I didn't even know it existed.
This is fresh. This is a fresh story to everybody. That's interesting. Okay. So let's talk about the movie itself. The star of the movie is
Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man.
Iron Man. And so, is it strange seeing Robert Downey Jr. in something other than an iron suit?
Yes, it is. He is in an iron suit at one point, but no spoiling for where that's coming from.
Okay.
But there was one thing about Robert Downey Jr. in this film that I didn't like.
Ooh.
His accent was really weird. He tried to go for British. It rolled off for a bit of Russian.
Interesting.
It kind of went off as Russian.
Oh, okay.
So to me, it's not that weird because he's an actor and I know he's done multiple different roles, but also he doesn't look the same as Iron Man. He has different clothes, different hair. He looks very different, so it's not that strange. And only a few times in the movie was I like, oh, that's Iron Man.
Now, in terms of the story itself, it's fresh for most of you, but the idea of talking to animals is not unique. You see it periodically in movies and books and such. What did you think of that as a storyline?
I liked how all the animals, they were different and they had different personalities, and even animals that you'd think might be so fierce, they were different. Mm-hmm. They were different than all the other animals.
It's an interesting point. Raiden.
I think it was a very interesting story plotline because sometimes a lot of people want to see what their pets are thinking and just animals in general, because we don't know how to speak to animals. So it's a very fun perspective to see what the animals are thinking and what they're trying to say to us.
Yeah. Andrew, what do you think about this?
Honestly, I think it's just one of those others, either animal or inanimate object like Toy Story's movies. It's kind of a generic inanimate object movie with talking animals or, yeah. I don't actually feel that it was too generic because there was like, in most of these films, it's kind of weird. Like, they think the person's crazy. And I guess in some ways Dr. Dolittle is crazy, but for separate reasons. And this time I feel like it was less, oh my gosh, I can talk to animals. Come on, let's go do something and save the world. He kind of, the way he communicates with them is different from any other thing. It's not if you hit your head or woke up from a coma and suddenly you can do that. It was more, I learned this ability and I can teach others this and I can use this. But I can't he can't just communicate with a whale, he has to use the sound waves and things like that.
So what did we think of the actual performances in the film? Did we like them? How was Robert Downey Jr. in his role? Ooh, that's not a very good role.
I feel like he was.
Raiden?
He was fine.
Yeah. Was he funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't going so great. Poor Dr. Dolittle. Okay.
I think he was okay besides two things. One, his accent was terrible. It sounded like a mix between Russian and trying to do British. And then he whispered way too much. He never spoke. He just whisper.
Really?
You know, I heard some Scottish in that accent as well.
A little bit, maybe.
What do you think?
I think that his performance was good. His acting was good, but just the accent wasn't incredible. And I didn't really feel like it was a funny movie or supposed to be funny. I felt like it was more dramatic.
Oh, that's not good because I think it's supposed to be funny.
Oh, I don't think that Dr. Dolittle himself was supposed to be funny because he's not really that type of person. I think the animals were, and some of them were funny. Some of them, it was clear that they were just trying and it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Okay.
The timing was off.
Yeah, they tried to get comedies. All they ever got out of me was a couple solid exhales.
Oh dear.
Nobody told me there'd be a dragon.
I'm too beautiful to die.
So thinking about the story itself, did anything stick out as particularly good or maybe even particularly bad to you?
So I thought most of the story was it was pretty predictable. You could tell what was gonna happen. I thought near the end though, there was an animal and they needed a medical procedure and I just found that it was a little bit inappropriate or immature.
One of the jokes near the end-ish is just what the heck? What the HE double hockey sticks? I'm a cotton candy ninny mugget. It's the one with the dragon. They had to get all the armor out of his.
Yeah.
Oh!
That was just painful.
That was just disgusting.
That scene was not needed.
I'm getting some mixed messaging on this film. So who is the most appropriate age group for this particular film?
10 to
10, really? Okay.
9. Maybe 8-ish. I don't know. 9-ish. Let's go 9. 9 to however old.
I'm curious, why would you say that age? Why at that point? Is there something in the film that you think would be disturbing for a 5, 6, 7-year-old?
Yes, that scene.
That scene?
2, it's a little more mature.
Okay.
It's a little more of some parts are scary, and overall it'd be hard to follow if you were younger.
Okay.
And especially the accents weren't that easy to understand. They didn't always speak that loud.
Okay.
And I don't think a little kid would enjoy it too much.
Okay.
They probably would be like, wait, Mommy, what does that mean? Dad, what does that, what is happening now? What? And it'd be better to
Was she doing that throughout the entire movie?
A little bit.
When?
Okay. Sadie, what do you think? Age?
I think the youngest you should be is around 10 because there was a little bit of action in it and younger kids may be scared, may not understand. And for the older age, I think it just really depends if you like that style of movie.
But so 10 and up is you're saying 10 and up
Yeah.
as well. Raiden?
I say 9 and up because it's at the point where it's a little intense and the storyline might be hard to follow with. But the main story about animals talking, kids might be able to understand, but the other parts, like some of the deaths in the movie, might be a little more harder to process.
Okay, so co-watchability. Co-watchability is the idea that parents would enjoy watching the movie with their kids. How does this movie fall in the co-watchability factor?
I think it is co-watchable, but I think some parents might not like it as much because, like I said before, there are some immature scenes and some scenes that parents wouldn't like to watch because it's kind of cringy and immature.
Okay.
But maybe some parents would like to watch it because there is a form of intensity and people fighting or animals, and it does have a little bit of action that other people or other parents might like to watch.
Were there humans fighting animals as well, or just humans fighting with humans?
There was humans.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, there was both actually.
If I were to write a co-watchability chart where 0 was the middle ground, 5 would be highest, and -5 would be lowest, I would rate it -1.
Really?
On the Yes, it is a movie that was originally when our older parents and other older people would have watched it. And
Who are you talking to?
ouch! You know, the older yes, the older people.
I truly enjoyed the 1967 version.
But honestly, other than that, it's not really co-watchable. Like, as I said, it's kind of like awkward for parents to be sitting through that
Yeah.
awkward scene. That's why is it there?
And that's I think that speaks to the heart of co-watchability. I mean, what you're saying basically is makes it unco-watchable because parents don't want to sit through that with their kids.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save what I'm about to say next for the rating.
Andrew, I have one question.
Yes.
Why did you make your scale -5 to 5 instead of just 0 to 10? Like that.
Because you guys have sometimes a hard time understanding some things.
How? Isn't 0 to 10 much easier to understand than -5 to +5?
Well,
See, I would go to
make it
11. Because
1
it's,
to 11.
Because it's one more than 10.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have such a big bloopers video.
We've no choice but to embark on this perilous journey.
Everyone pack your bags! I'm unavailable.
You can talk to animals.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're at that part of the show where we have to give our final ratings on Dr. Dolittle. And you remember the scale. It's 1 to 5, 1 being a terrible movie, 5 being great, and then everything in between. So let's get started, and let's start with, actually we need to figure out what we're gonna rate it out of.
Ducks!
So 1 to 5 ducks will be our rating scale today. Although I think that having 1 duck is better than having 5 ducks, if you think about it from...
Okay.
Okay, I give you the point. Okay, so let's start with you, Sadie.
I would give it 3
Okay.
ducks
Okay.
because I liked the animals. I thought they were fun. I personally don't really love action movies, and this did have a little bit of action in it. And I also like really funny movies, and this just wasn't like a funny film.
Okay. 3 is still a pretty high rating. Okay. Raven.
I'd give it a 3.5 because even though the accents that Robert Downey Jr. was doing, they weren't the best, and the immaturity of the movie, I think that it still was a great movie explaining how and what would animals sound like and what their personalities would be, or what some of the animals' personalities would be if they could talk, and how that would make a difference.
Do you think that the voices matched the animal in your mind?
Some of them did. Like, the gorilla surprised me because I see a gorilla as strong and tough, but this really showed a gorilla's different personality because that's what I expected to be, but it could totally be something different.
Okay, time to unleash my deep, dark, evil side I was hiding from Jumanji. 1.5.
What?
You said 2! I didn't like this. I didn't like it. I really didn't
Well,
like it.
that's your call, absolutely.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
It
And,
was-
and what was there something specifically that really sunk the duck?
The plot was very generic.
Yeah.
To the two like kids, they like meet them in the very beginning, but 10 minutes later they envelop a crush on each other when they've never met each other.
That's exciting.
So like
That happens.
It is love at first sight.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cue the theme song to Love Story here.
I think I'm gonna give it a 3
Okay.
because some parts I'm like, they were funny, some parts were okay, while others were very much confusing or just unnecessary. There were a few scenes where I did enjoy it. I did enjoy following the world that they were living in, but other times I'm just like, no, that just stop.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't work.
Now, would it surprise you if I told you that as of the time of filming, that Rotten Tomatoes, that you may know is the aggregator of reviews, has this film at 13? And that's, if you think of how badly Cats was reviewed,
How badly Cats was reviewed.
Cats got a 20, and it's considered one of the biggest box office flops ever.
Emoji Movie got
13
7.
out of what again?
It's 100, so it's basically, it's a percentage, right? So 13, this is at 13 right now. Does that surprise you?
No.
Okay. Now, those are all adult reviewers,
Adults,
right? So
yeah.
that's, and that sort of speaks to that question before about, or that issue before about the immaturity maybe, and I read some of the reviews and they echoed a lot of the things that you said that may not necessarily be the same skill that kids would use. Okay, guys, that was a great review. Thank you very much. I appreciate your honesty, Andrew, in terms of that really deep, dark score, but it looks like everybody else is kind of in the middle as to where this film is. It's probably good for 10 and up in age group, and maybe not the best film to invite your parents to watch with you. So I think that's a reasonable summary. So thanks everybody for episode 1 for season 2.
I've been in both of the first episodes.
There you go.
We've all been in both of the first. Oh, except for Raiden.
Raiden's is a new kid on the block.
Thanks for watching.
Make sure to follow us on social media.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Catch us next time where we'll be watching and reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog. Not Sonic the Hedgehog the movie.
A little interesting note that you may recall that our first movie reviewed was what?
Missing
Link.
And did you hear about its award? the
Yes,
other
we
day?
got the
Yes.
best animation.
Yeah,
It did. It was nominated.
That was such a weird animation.
I know, but
Yeah, it was nominated and it got.
It was so
well,
weird.
it's nominated for the upcoming Oscars, but it won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Film.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
so
no,
weird.
it's nominated for the Oscars.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Also, we also really, back then, after watching the movie, we really liked the animation.
Yeah,
like,
you did. Yeah, you all
all
talked
of
about
us.
Except
it.
for the faces. They were
No, the
scary.
faces. No, you talked about the beaks. You talked about how, like, you know how, like, the evil person.
I
had
don't
a
know.
beak?
That was last year. Like
How you can tell how the villains had like beaks and like with
yeah,
an
they had, like,
eagle
really pointy
and
noses.
balls.
This movie sounds
Okay, let's
interesting.
rewatch the first episode right now. Here
Yes!
Actually,
we go, and action.
Today we'll be watching and reviewing. Oh shoot.
oh, can we do this in British accents?
Oh my gosh, no.
No.
Welcome back to Kids Review Crew.
Today we'll be watching and reviewing.
Sorry, that's fine.
It's just gonna be me saying welcome back to Kids Review Crew for like the next.
ready.
Action.
Oh me!
By the way, did I tell you he has to talk? By the way, he has talking to animals.
Antonio Banderas, Rami Malek, John Cena, Kumari Nanjiani, Octaviano Spencer, and Craig Robinson. Let us commence. No! No!
Robinson.